to Inspiring Voices, a virtual series dedicated to highlighting stories that inspire. And I listen, this is a great series, and I'm being inspired, so I know you all will be too. Today, I'm honored to be joined by Miss Natasha Robinson, who will share her journey and inspire our audience with the power of her story. Hey, Natasha.
What's up? How are you?
Good, good. Thank you so much for joining me to share your empowering story. We're going to jump right in, all right? No delay. We're going to jump right in, and we're going to start kind of at the beginning, right? We're going to start with early experiences. So, can you share with us the experiences that shaped the voice that you now bring to the world?
Yes. So I feel like a lot of my early experiences, were hard. It was a struggle. I went through some abuse growing up, and I feel like that pain and carrying that early on really shaped how I developed as far as my mental health and handling different situations and the career that I would end up in. I feel like all that influence, my parents' divorce, and just all those influences and those events really shaped me as I into who I am now.
Oh, I love that. And I identify with a lot of your story, dealing with growing up in a traumatic household, also dealing with abuse and having my parents divorced when I was younger. And I don't think we understand what seems kind of normal to society really does have these lasting impacts on us. And so I'm curious to know, because I know for myself, but I'm curious, what values, even with all of that going on, did you gain that still guide your voice today?
I would say honesty was a big one that my mom was pretty
Mm,
big on. So I felt like being true to who I was because I felt like for so long I tried to please my parents and what they wanted me to do and how they wanted me to be. And I felt myself like at one point in my life just like fighting it because I was like, I'm not being honest. I'm not living honestly. I'm not living authentically. I'm not even showing up as who I want to be. I'm showing up as a person other people are telling me to be. And
yeah.
that's not, it's like you're fighting with yourself because you're like, this isn't
Mhm.
really me, but I'm doing the
Yeah.
right thing according to them. So I think honesty is the biggest thing, and showing up authentically is the biggest
Mm,
thing that I gained from my mother growing up.
yes. Honesty is a big one, and I'm so with you. I'm currently writing a book right now called Unlearning Perfect. Because as the
Mm,
eldest daughter and growing up as being, someone who parented her parents and, parented a younger sibling, it's like, again, you don't even know that you are being formed from like birth on into this person that you get to a certain age and you're like, that's not who I am. That's not who I am. It's the cards I was dealt, but it's not who I am. It's who I had to be. I had to be strong. I had to be courageous. I had to take care of others. But I really want the soft life. I really want to be, minding my business and frolicking somewhere. And so I really love that honesty was one of those values. And it's really important because I always say this too when younger kids, kind of fib and tell lies at a young age, if that is not addressed, it does come up in our adulthood and we start to
100%.
live, in ways that are not true to ourselves. So I love that. All right, so let's talk about, I guess, the turning point and pivotal points, because you've already kind of, shed light on going through abuse and dealing with the divorce of your parents. So what was that pivotal moment in that journey? And how did you navigate it, in your life?
Honestly, for me, that pivotal moment did not come until I was about 20, in my 20s, in my
Mm.
early 20s. Did that aha moment, like, what is wrong with my life? Like, what has happened? Didn't come until like my mental health was just spiraling out of control. In a way that I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna make it back from this. And that's how much pain I was carrying, and not just from, my parents' divorce and, abuse and trauma I went through as a kid. And, but also other situations. Like I was raped when I was 18 years old, about to graduate. I was 17. It was 2 weeks before I graduated high school. So just like carrying that, never addressing it, never really talking about it, just putting on that front, swallowing it, and going about my life. So I feel like all that pain started bleeding out in different areas of my life. And I was married very young. I got married at 21. So it was pouring out into my marriage, pouring out into my friendships. And I was like, why am I so angry all the time? Why am I so irritable all the time? Why am I so emotionally volatile, unstable emotionally? Like, what is wrong with me? And of course, I seeked help, but I didn't know how deep it went. I thought like, oh, I'm just tripping. I didn't really like come to that place where I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm carrying all this pain, all this tragic, like I'm carrying all of it every day. I'm carrying it around. Like it's just my load I carry everywhere I go. And I could see it and I was just like, this is wild.
Mm,
Like, and I just got to a place where I was like, what it I started having like suicidal thoughts. Like it
mhm,
started escalating and the
mhm.
pain just felt heavier and heavier. And I felt like nobody could help me. Yes, my family was reaching for me. They were trying to get me this and trying to get me that. My husband was reaching for me, but it was just like nobody could literally save me but God at that point. Because
Yeah.
I was so far gone. I was so in my pain and my depression and my mood disorder. Like I was PTSD. I was so far in it. It was like a cloud. I couldn't see anything outside of it. So I think in my 20s is when I really seeked help. But if I'm completely honest with you, it wasn't until like my mid 20s, late 20s, until I really started pursuing help even more
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
different ways, like therapy and
Yes.
reaching out for people and looking for support groups and
Yes.
those different resources. Because I was like, I cannot live my life like this, and I don't want to lose my life stuck in this.
No.
Because mental health is a thing that a lot of people don't understand how deep it
Mm,
goes and how real it truly is.
absolutely.
Um, and I was just like, I don't want I want to hold on to my life. Like God has a purpose for me. I just tried to really hold on to that knowing.
Yeah.
But it was some very, very dark times during that period. Very, very dark.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your transparency because I know someone who's watching this will be able to identify and maybe find themselves in your story. Something I heard you say that was really impactful is that, yes, you had an awareness that something was wrong, but you took the steps to get the help. And sometimes we just are aware and we stay right there and we're like sometimes comfortable in it or even scared. Because I've heard people say, I don't know who I am without the pain. I don't know who I am. I don't know how I'll show up in the world without the tears and the drama and the depression. I don't even know. I'm scared to even start the process of healing because I don't know what's on the other side of it. So I applaud you for not just being aware, but then taking the steps to get better because it's difficult, but that decision, that choice to say, I got to come out of this changes your whole entire life. And I hope someone that's watching this that again can identify with some of the things that you said, that they take that leap and make that decision to get better and get the help that they need starting right now, starting today. I'm also glad that were able to navigate and pivot and see that in your 20s. I mean, I was in my 30s when it happened for me.
I
And
mean, it
so
took
the
years.
beauty
It took years.
yeah, but the beauty of that, there is no right or wrong. I think the beauty of that is no matter what age, no matter what stage of your life, no matter what you have going on, no matter what your title is, it doesn't matter. You can start right now in changing the trajectory of your life. And that's the point that I wanted to bring out, because I really want. Sometimes people see us and we're like, oh, they're young, they don't know. But it doesn't matter what age. If you identify with this, we want you to be encouraged to start your journey of healing today. All right, so let's talk about the lessons that you learned because, of course, we don't go through all of those things for naught. Okay, we don't
Right.
go through all of those things just to, have this badge of, honor. What are the most important lessons you've learned from your journey, and how can others apply them in their own lives?
Wow, that's a really good question. I think one of the most important journeys or important lessons that I've learned on the journey is I don't have all the answers. Even in my healing phase that I am in right now, looks different from 10 years ago, but I don't have all the answers, and that is okay. And I feel
Mhm.
like sometimes when we are going through healing, we're like, okay, I know everything now, so I'm good. And it's like, no, we are constantly growing. We're constantly going through different seasons, and God is pruning us in different ways.
Yeah.
And I don't think healing is about knowing all the answers and answering everything and filling in the whys and everything. I think healing is more about restoration and getting you to see a different perspective of maybe
Mm,
that situation that you went
yeah.
through.
Yes,
So I think that's been one of the biggest lessons
mm,
I've learned. It's okay not to have all the answers while healing.
yes, yes. Because if we're not careful, that becomes the point of stagnation for us. And feeling like we have to have it all together. It's like, oh, well, I don't have it, so I got to stay right here a little longer. No, you got to keep going. And the answer I've learned in my own healing journey, and in my own story, that as you go, you know, you'll get it. There's a scripture in the Bible that talks about as they went, they were healed. And so I think that's an important thing again to bring out is keep going and the answers will come as you go along. I love that. So let's talk about creating impact because again, this is an inspiring voices, and so we're looking to inspire and encourage transformation to those who will watch. So how can we all use our own personal stories to inspire, influence, and make positive impact?
I think one of the biggest way, and for me, a lot of healing has come from writing.
Mm,
But again, that can look different for everybody. Healing is
mhm,
not going to be writing for everybody. So I
mhm,
think number one, naming the weight that you're carrying,
mm,
depression, grief, um, anxiety,
mhm,
shopping addiction, whatever it is, naming that and
mhm.
sitting with that and saying, what, how is this affecting my life? Um, Starting there, I feel like will help you say like, okay, how can I, as you go through that journey of healing from that depression or anxiety or whatever it is, how can you now use that story of healing and restoration and overcoming to inspire other people that are just
Yeah.
like you, that need somebody to say, hey, I've been there. I know what that feels like. I know that's real, to validate you and your experience and your reality. Um, I feel like that's truly the way we can inspire each other and having these conversations where we're being open and we're being transparent and we're like, hey, it's not all, sunshines and rainbows. It's some really dark times. It's some really dark days. It's some really hard moments.
Yes.
I think the transparency is what is going to inspire other people, just in general, no matter what your testimony is and what you've been through, being transparent about it and sharing that and saying, hey, that opens the door for other people to do the same and to
Yeah.
meet you there where they
Yeah.
are.
I love that, girl. This is all good. I'm soaking it all in. I love that. I love what you said about naming what it is, what your pain is, what your issue is, what your where you are, because that does help you identify what your purpose is. Because a lot of times, some people all the time they say, "Well, I don't know what I should be doing, and I don't know what my purpose is." More often than not, you've either already been through it, you've already been or you already have been doing it, excuse me. So I know for me, I always found myself in leadership stuff and I always had issues with other women and things like that. And I was like, why does this keep coming up? Why does this keep coming up? Because
Sure.
you were anointed to create safe spaces for women to come together, to connect, to heal, to so. But it was like a reoccurring thing throughout my life. And so when, like you said, when I wrote it down, and I was like, okay, I've been through this. A lot of women have been through that. I've been through a miscarriage. A lot of women have been through that. I've been through this. I was like, huh, everything surrounds around women and the issues that we face. So something is going on here. So I
Right.
love that you brought that point out because that can answer a lot of questions, not just looking at what you're dealing with, but looking at how, like you said, how you can figure out how to impact and help others. I love this. Let me have one more question, and I'm so sad because this is so good. I'm going to bring you back for a part two, girl. Let's talk about sustaining inspiration, because you and I both know, like you said, the work and the process of what we do can be heavy and hard. And, you're trying to inspire, but you also have your own personal stuff going on. So, what continues to drive you today, and how do you maintain your inspiration and purpose?
Wow. I feel like that is hard,
Mm-hmm.
especially in the phase I'm in now, the healing phase that I'm in now, and grief, walking through grief and miscarriage, like you mentioned, that you've also been through. Um, so I feel like in this phase, I'm definitely praying a lot, staying connected to God, and my relationship, my faith, my community, my church community. Um, and just honestly writing. I know it seems like, wow, you want to do that through all this? Yes, I want to journal. I want to write, despite, having heavy days. I mean, it's been really, really rough emotionally for me lately. And I think the way that I am staying inspired is by keeping going, keeping my eyes on the purpose that I feel like God has given me, and that is to help women and help people in general connect, um, and just know they're not alone and that there is hope. No matter what it is you're going through, you're walking through, there is hope. And I think keeping that for myself, and also like taking breaks when I need to, and just like going off of checking out of social media for a few days, or checking off of my blog or whatever it is, or out of the spotlight for a few days, and just taking time to get that restoration with God and with my family, like taking those moments and having those private times, I feel like will keeps me focused and inspired to continue pursuing my purpose to help people.
That's so good. Listen, I'm learning the importance of self care and creating a day just for myself to be.
Right.
I'm learning, like, I literally went through our event calendar just this week and took things off. I was like, I gotta take some time, because I'm finding that I'm starting to feel the signs of burnout. I'm starting to feel like, I'm not okay, and so I love that you touched on self care is super important. And not just, we think about self care and like beauty standards and doing nails, and all of those are a part of it. But I always say, creating a consistent lifestyle of self care. It should be like, we should be the most important person to it. Like, I think we look outside of ourselves for people to value us and to pour into us and all those things. And hopefully you have community that does that for you. But I'm learning in this season how important it is for me to do that for myself. For me
100%.
to say, I didn't get it from here, but I'm gonna do it for me. I would have hoped that you did it, but I'm going to do it for myself this weekend. So I love that. So in closing, unfortunately, what key message do you hope our audience takes away? And could you share one inspirational thought with them?
It's something that I like to tell people, not just because I like to hear it being said, but because I believe in my heart of hearts that it is true. God has not forgotten you. Whatever your story is, whatever you're going through, whatever you've walked through, whatever you've overcome,
Yes.
whatever you're currently walking through, God has not forgotten you. Like, this is not the end of your story. Your pain, it does not limit you to just being known for that pain. No, no, no. God has way more for us, for you, for everyone than that. And I feel like we get so stuck and the pain and the misery and the depression. And we forget to look up. We
Yes.
forget to look up, you
Yes.
know, and we forget that there is hope. And
Yeah.
that's what I really want people to know through my writings, through my poetry, through everything I'm doing and trying to connect with other people. God has not forgotten you.
Mm. He has not forgotten. I love that. All right. Well, Natasha, thank you so very much for your courage, for your boldness in sharing your story, your voice, and your wisdom today. Your journey is both inspiring and transformative, and we're grateful for the impact that you're making and grateful that you decided to grace the platform of That Girl Global. And to everyone watching, thank you for tuning in to Inspiring Voices. Stay connected for more stories that uplift, empower, and transform. Until next time, continue to walk in purpose, share your voice, and inspire the world around you. Bye.